Welcome to the Senior Living Sizzle, expert-led discussions on the industry's hottest topics. The Senior Living Sizzle is super powered by Heart Legacy, which is home to SalesMail, Senior Living's #1 video tool. Today, I am joined by a very, very special guest, Kim Vassenelli, Director of Sales and Marketing at Park Rose Estates. Welcome, Kim. We are so happy to have you here.
Yay! So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. And now listen, if you've watched a Senior Living Sizzle before, you know we normally just dive right into these topics and unpacking them. But Kim, you have a huge congratulations in order. And so I would love for you to share with us what just happened for Park Rose Estates.
Thank you. Yes. So we were nominated for the 2024 Senior Living Community of the Year, and we won on Thursday. So honored and so exciting. It's so nice to be recognized for our excellence, our commitment to excellence in senior living. And this was just through a local networking group, Community Living Advocates, that's just local to like our county. And we all got together for a nice award ceremony dinner. And yes, we're honored.
Amazing. Yes. Well deserved. Congratulations to you all. We are so proud of you.
Thank you.
So, friends, before we get too deep into the good stuff, I do like to share a little bit of a framework or agenda around what we're going to be covering today. As you all know, our topic is events that convert visitors into residents. And so we're going to be unpacking the top 3 types of events that you can host at your own community to create this type of impact. So, Kim, I would love to just start around the importance and the value of having people just come into your community in general. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. So it's very important to get them through the doors because they're actually able to see, feel, and experience the environment, right? So 9 times out of 10, when I have a visit with a family, their first thing they say after we, regroup after our visit is, oh my gosh, like this place just has a feel to it. I can't even describe. I don't know what it is necessarily. And so, yeah, that goes to show that like physically walking through the doors certainly can go a long way.
Yeah. And I know when I was a sales director, I often felt like the obstacle was to just get them through the door
Yes.
because I think there is this like mystery and this fear and this barrier, right? To just like walking into a senior living community, don't know what to expect, don't know what awaits me. I remember people being like, "Are you going to let me leave?" Like, yeah, you can leave. We're not like holding you hostage by any means. But to your point, people would come in and they would get to feel it and experience it for themselves. And I would hear more and more often than not, which I'm sure you do too, that this is way different than I thought it was going to be. What kind of experiences, I guess, are people having when they come to your community as far as are they coming there to tour? Are they coming to have a meal? Are they coming to an event? Kind of what's that look like, or is it all of the above?
It is all of the above, but right, so many times they walk through the doors for the first time, and there's so many like preconceived notions about senior living, like, oh, they're going to take away my independence, they're going to lock me in, there's nothing to do, it's dark and scary, and it's the complete opposite. Could not be any further from all of those things. They're actually, they're coming through the doors and they're doing, there's, tangible things for them to do. They're tasting the food, they're doing the activities, they're participating in, the sense of community we have to offer here. And that's very important once they do come through the doors.
For sure. And so, it's also making me think about we can talk on the phone to people. We can even email people. We can text with people. I know you're like the best power user of sales mail. So we can even sales mail people, right? And my favorite quote, which I always like to drop in here, is that video does create psychological proximity in the absence of physical proximity. But we do best as an industry when we have people in front of us so that we can show them, telling them less, showing them more.
Yes.
So, okay, so we've talked about this importance of just having people come feel it for themselves. So I want to shift a little bit and talk about how we can bring outside community members into the actual community. So what I'm thinking in my mind is like networking events, chamber, Kiwanis, Rotary. Are those things that you all are doing at Park Rose Estates currently?
Yes, so at least once or twice a month, we have an event for prospective residents and or our referral partners, because it's so important for our prospective residents to be able to interact with the current residents, because they're going to hear it firsthand. This place is amazing. We're busy as bees. There's always something to do. There's always someone here. So they're going to hear it firsthand from residents themselves. And that can certainly ease the transition into our community.
I know that I had a lot of success. I know I talked about this in one of my LinkedIn promos for this conversation, but I would host like like the Chamber of Commerce will have like an after hours. And so
Yes,
I would host that at my community. And what that did is it brought in people that would never, their
yes,
words, would never in a million years walk into a senior living community because in their mind, they have no reason to. That's not something that they'll ever need or that anyone in their life will ever need. But what I found was very interesting is that those people would come in, they would take a tour, they would potentially have a meal or just see the community in action. And then I started to build better and better referral partners because now those folks are out in the community talking to their clients and they're hearing things like, oh, I would love to do that, but my mom just fell. Or, I would be interested in that, but I actually have to take care of my mom. And so then it teaches that referral network to say, who's helping you with that? Do you know that Park Rose Estates exist? Do you know that these types of settings exist to help support you? So I'm just like a huge fan of inviting people who maybe don't make sense.
yes, 100%. So yeah, we invite like our local chamber, my local networking groups, but they've all been here before. So I try to branch out. Like right now, one of my girlfriends works for the local electric company, National Grid, and
Yep.
completely unrelated to senior living. But we are working on getting a group of them to come have lunch and maybe do like a show and tell with the residents, something, electric or gas related. But yeah, we're hoping to have them in, and that's, a group of 5 to 10 people who probably don't even know what this building is or what we do. But certainly word of mouth goes a long way. They might have a loved one or they might know someone, whether it's today or in the next year who needs senior living, and they're going to say, oh my gosh, I was at a senior living and it was beautiful. And so they're
Yeah.
able to experience it as well.
Yeah. Two kind of last points on this. The first thing that comes to my mind is I think that we, as sales professionals in senior living, it is our job to, yes, work with these prospects and get them excited and educate them and all of those things. But it is equally our job to educate the local community, your local networking group, the chamber, the electric company. Guess what? There are older adults that have electric. This just
Yes.
in. And so you can like now that my brain has kind of shifted in this way, I can almost think of anybody as a potential referral partner because everyone has aging loved ones. They just
Correct.
do. And so the
Yes.
second point on that is that we get to educate them and help them shift that perception of what they think this is.
Absolutely.
So good. So fun. Okay. What else did I have here? Let's talk about the ways to invite people to some of these events. So I know I mentioned that you are just a sales mail champion. If you all are not following Kim on LinkedIn, run, don't walk, friends, because she does a great job. But I'd love to just kind of hear how you've been leveraging video in maybe pre-invites, post-event follow-ups, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I use sales mail for just about any and everything. If you are still using your email templates that are overused, repetitive, bland, forget about it. So sales mail is a way to connect a name with a face right off the bat. Something probably your competitor is not doing. Because I'll tell you from my standpoint, I don't know another competitor in my local Syracuse, New York area that uses sales mail, which shame on them. But it gives me the upper hand because I'm introducing myself and they're like, that's Kim at Park Rose. They do not know what anyone else looks like. They don't know what the building looks like. But so I use it I do something creative for like events and such. So I might, I might put on a Santa hat and do a hello, welcome, ho, 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 come join us for our Christmas party. Or I might do, a Halloween costume for a Halloween invitation and such. I always like to use a prop because it makes it a little spicy and interesting. But I'm just email blasting prospective residents, current residents, families, referral partners to join us for whatever the event may be. And not only am I doing that, but sales mail gives you the ability to see how many people have viewed this, where, like what state they're, it's amazing to see the data that comes from this as well. Because if I send it to 500 people and 300 are opening it, that's amazing. If you're email blasting, okay, they're opening it, but are they reading it? A video, the message is received so much better than a bland email template. And so then, yeah, I'll do another email blast after the event that just kind of does a recap. Thank you for joining us. We'd love to have you back, whether it's for a meal or activity, or maybe they, 9 times out of 10, they already know someone here. So I'm inviting them back to do some sort of lunch or, coffee, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
with their friend here. So
I love that. We did just have somebody ask, what CRM do you use?
so we use Welcome Home, and
Okay.
Nathan, I'd be interested to hear what you guys use.
And Nathan's maybe asking that because of the email blast comment. And we don't need to dive too deep into that for this conversation today, but friends, sales mail is literally copy and paste. Works really well with Align as well, Nathan. Simple copy paste functionality. We work with all of the CRMs, and this is just in place of that big wall of text. And so, Kim, it's no surprise that you're getting incredible open rates and incredible, show rates for people actually coming to those events. We recently just had a testimonial come in about someone that they had a big open house, and for years, this open house was never attended. And she sent a sales mail and had 45 people show up and a deposit come from that.
Yeah.
Like that gives me like goosebumps just even thinking
Yes.
about that magic happening.
Yeah. And
So
actually, just to piggyback off of what I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but so I'm posting my sales mails to LinkedIn too, right? Referral partners, or someone might have a loved one, but the data still carries over no matter what platform you post it on. So it's not just like,
correct.
okay, I have to send this in an email. You can post it wherever and the data is collected, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Love it.
Yep. Nailed it. I mix it up, right? Like I like to text sometimes, I like to email sometimes. I send sales mails through LinkedIn messages all the time. But yeah, to your point, all of our data is coming back to us in the sales mail dashboard. So love that. Well, let's shift a little bit into talking about holiday events. I know we've got Thanksgiving next week, which is wild to
Can't
even
believe
think
it.
about. But I want to talk about some of the holiday events that you all host. And I also want to talk about the importance of events are great. Events are going to bring people into your community, allow them to experience and feel what it actually feels like to be there. But holidays to me, and probably to you, feel like a little bit extra special of a time, right? These people are potentially isolated, lonely, they don't have someone to spend the holiday season with. And so let's kind of talk about that for a little bit on, what events are you all hosting and how do you go about navigating those?
Sure. So we're having a huge Thanksgiving luncheon that will be prospective and resident and family based. We don't charge for the luncheon. So we're really encouraged. There's no cost. Why wouldn't you come have a Thanksgiving meal? It's Thanksgiving.
Why wouldn't you?
And then, we have our annual Christmas party that draws like 300, 350 usually. We have entertainment on like 2 floors. It's a huge deal. But it's just very important more now than ever, especially in Syracuse, New York. We haven't had the S word yet, snow. We haven't had that yet, but we know it's coming. And the winters here, because of how brutal they can be, our seniors tend to hibernate, maybe worse than like obviously maybe Florida, maybe they're a little more active. But so in the snowier states, more now than ever, so important to really get your message out and across that you should be coming to these events because, we're going to show you a lifestyle that will help you thrive and support your emotional well-being. And so we're doing that, that's for, November, December. And yeah, we're really
Okay.
looking forward to getting the public through the doors.
I love that. It's so interesting too. I think that when I was working with prospects, when you invite them to things like this, it's almost like you kind of have to sometimes have an out. And what I mean by that is like, hey, just because you came to this event doesn't mean you have to move in tomorrow. But we would love to show you, like you said it beautifully, like we would love to show you what this lifestyle is like. It's just like that's how we learn new things. That's how we obtain new perspectives as we experience it. And now we understand that that's possible for us. So I love that you all are doing that. Do you go and get folks that are potentially not able to come into the events?
We absolutely can. However, 9 times out of 10, they will have a friend that comes with them because they
I
kind
got
of
you.
feel a little apprehensive about, coming alone,
Sure.
which no worries either way. But yeah, we can pick them up, we can drop them off, whatever it takes to get them through the doors, whatever it takes to, hopefully close a sale eventually. But
Yeah.
yeah, and we're really trying to this year, we did some like group creative thinking on how to get more through the doors. And we're going to present it as though, maybe you are isolated at home, but even if you're home and your family lives nearby, even so, I mean, if you and your mom want to bake cookies together, you have to go grocery shopping, you have to buy the ingredients, you have to cook them, bake them, clean up the mess. And instead of doing all that, just come to Park Rose. We're literally going to do all the hard work for you. And no mess, no cleanup, no hassle. And you can even invite your loved one and we'll do all the dirty work for you. So you're actually really able to enjoy the quality time and make memories versus having to host something like that.
Yeah, no, I love that. And you kind of alluded to this at the beginning of what you were just saying around almost like a buddy system. This is something I did also talk about on LinkedIn a little bit. How there is such magic that is created when
Yes.
you get a prospective resident and a current resident together. And they
Yes.
don't even necessarily like, I know that there are tools and solutions out there that will kind of match residents with, similar interests and things like that. I would argue that human connection does that in this stage of the process, right? And
For
so
sure.
if somebody is a little resistant and they're not quite sure what to expect, knowing that if I show up at your community and you, Kim, are going to be like my buddy, like you're going to be my person to guide me through, show me your apartment, show me what you love about this community, that works wonders.
Yes. It absolutely does. And so we have community ambassadors here. So I have like a whole team of residents who are like ready to just inform, guide, and encourage any new person that walks through the
Oh,
door.
I love that so much. That was going to be my follow-up question is, do you have like a resident ambassador,
We do.
perhaps a group? And,
Yeah.
I know we are talking more about like the prospect side and getting folks in, but think of the purpose that's being given to your current residents to do that.
Yes. It gives
Like,
them
I'm
a
sure they
sense
love it.
of belonging for sure. And they feel like they have a job to do. I mean, they are so ready. So if I'm walking around with a family, they'll start asking, like, even if the prospective resident isn't here, the loved one's here, they're like, okay, who are we looking for? Where does she live? Like, they want the whole scoop. Like, I always tell prospective families, I'm like, I don't even really sell the apartments here. Like, my residents do 90% of the work. I'm just here to make things fun and interesting.
I just have the keys to the open
Yeah.
apartments. That's basically it. That's
Pretty
so
much.
funny. That's
Yeah.
awesome. But it really does foster that sense of community. And it's no surprise that you all just won the award that you did because it sounds like you're doing a ton of the really, really good right things. So
Yes.
proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Um, any other just like key tips or, things that you think that the audience here would really benefit from knowing when it comes to inviting, hosting events that convert those prospects or referral partners into residents? Anything that's kind of standing out that maybe we haven't covered yet?
Yeah, so I always like to tell, there's two brief stories, and one has to do with a man who came for a trial stay here, and he's the first and only person who actually did not stay. And, I was at it with him. I was inviting him to everything under the sun here, event wise, for almost a year. And finally, we had a happy hour, and I forget who was performing, but he loved them. And so, per usual, sent him a sales mail or an invite, whatever it might be. And he came and he called me a week later and he's like, I'm coming back. And he's like, I'm selling my home this time. I'm staying. And so, I mean, right. So every activity you invite these prospects to, are you going to close someone every time? No, but you need to stay persistent. You need to stay relevant. Loss of engagement can lead to loss of interest. So don't let the person the hot lead that went cold, don't let them fall off the radar. And then the other story is, again, same situation. I had a woman who was all set, ready to move in. We went under some renovations and she fell off the radar. And, I was inviting her via sales mail. I was even sending like personal handwritten letters in the mail and like a cute little card. And she ended up, she came to, I think it was bingo on a Saturday. I wasn't here that Saturday. And I heard all about it on Monday that Sally came back. And she is now officially a Park Rose resident too. And these were both people who like fell off the radar, didn't answer a phone call, nothing for a year. So my best advice would be stick with it. Don't be discouraged. Every hot lead is not going to close in a week or two or a month. You have to really focus in on the hot leads that turn cold, why they turn cold. And I'd recommend sales mail to anyone who's looking for a new and creative way to really engage with their audience, their community, and their prospects.
Beautifully said. I couldn't have said that better myself. Those
Thank
are
you.
incredible tips. I see that Reed dropped loss of engagement can lead to loss of interest. And that is huge. That's like my biggest favorite takeaway from this conversation so far.
Yeah.
But I also, I worked with a lady at the very first community I worked at was more of independent retirement living, more of a lifestyle choice, right? We didn't really even offer assisted living or memory care. And there was one lady specifically, her name was Nancy, and I worked with her for 3 years.
Yep.
And then the day that she did decide to move in, right? That's like the most exciting, rewarding experience for us. It's not our timeline. It's just never going to be our timeline. And so I always like to say that we, as sales guidance type counselors, right? It's our job just to like hold safe space for these people.
Yes.
They are typically 70, 80, sometimes 90 years old. They know how to make decisions. They know what they want. They know what is important to them. And so it's up to us to match that, what they're saying and what they're needing with what we offer, if what we offer aligns. And if it doesn't, becoming a really well-educated resource in the community to get them to the right fit.
Yes, absolutely. And, another creative way I use sales mail is I like to take a problem. So whether it's, they don't cook for themselves, they're eating, cereal for 3 meals a day, whatever it might be. I like to take a problem or a burden and I like to solve it on camera and I'll send it to them. Or I might send them a meal if a meal is the burden for them. But, you could take anything and turn it into a video and email it to them. And so, like if they're not cooking for themselves, I might send them a sales mail of their friend Betty, who lives here, who's having a meal with her 3 best friends in the dining room. And it's, Saturday, so it's prime rib. And then obviously inviting them in to join. But so it's another creative way, I think once you kind of shift your perspective from I need to sell this person something to what problems can I solve for this person, I think that can help a lot too.
I love that. Just dropping massive knowledge bombs on this call. I love it. And I love that you're using sales mail in that way. I think that, I get asked a lot, like, when should I use sales mail? Where would I leverage video? And to me, what I'm hearing from you, and this is what I try to share as well, is that anytime you have an opportunity to make a meaningful impact,
Yes,
you have a message that you would be better showing than telling, and anytime you want to deepen or build a connection.
for sure.
So I love that you're just like, hey, don't take my word for it.
Yeah,
Look at Betty hanging out with her friends. You should be here. Come,
exactly.
join us.
Yes.
Well, let's open it up and see if there are any questions. I don't believe I've seen any come into the chat. We do have about 3 minutes left. So if you do have a question for Kim or myself, please do drop it in the chat. I do know that right after this conversation ends, you will all be prompted with a survey. This is how we capture these incredible topics for all of you. We've been doing a really good job of taking that survey result and then delivering it the very next month with the topic most requested. So I am so thankful, Kim, for you and your time here today.
Thank
We just
you.
really
I'm
appreciate
so
it.
happy to be here.
Yeah, so appreciate you and all of the knowledge that you've dropped for us. I've learned a lot. I know our audience has learned a lot. So we really appreciate that. But yeah, any other questions? We will stay here for just a couple more minutes to see if we can answer those for you. Otherwise, please do be sure to take the survey. You can always, sign up for future Senior Living Sizzles. We're going to keep this party rolling through 2025. It is one of our favorite things to do, and we hope you all enjoy it as well. Is it easy for seniors to watch the videos on their phones or computer? Yeah. So Beth, my kind of rule of thumb for that is if you have older adults in your database or in your, community that you're wanting to send these to, if they can navigate email on their phone, or if they can email text messages on their phone, yes, they can absolutely easily watch these. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you all so much for being here. We hope that you enjoyed our conversation today on the Senior Living Sizzle, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.